Well, Mercs are up on the PTS, and I know what you're thinking. Is there salt or no salt? Well, you got to ask yourself one question. Do you feel lucky? We'll find out the answer to that and more on this episode of the Escape Podcast for Star Wars The Old Republic. Our broadcast hashtag today is EPC 401. And playing alongside me is Seema. Hi, Seema. How's it going?
You didn't warn me about that intro, Max.
And I did it really badly. I didn't prep myself mentally. It was supposed to be Dirty Harry. That's supposed to be Clint Eastwood.
I got.
Well, the words, you got it from
Harry.
words. My impression was poor. I apologize unreservedly to the audio crowd.
So, yes, I do feel lucky.
Well, good.
So if I'm lucky, do I get salt? If I'm lucky, do I avoid
I think it was a
salt?
rhetorical question when Clint Eastwood asked it, but I will send that in.
I feel lucky because I've killed Lucky so many times this week.
Well, there's also
Which
that,
is-
but I don't see
that's
that
what
as
I
your
have-
title.
Well, no. That is what I've been up to this week, though. I've been still sort of working on Renown, but basically more sort of focused on the feast, and I've been doing some leveling too, but still mostly with the feast. Like I had my a Merc that I've been leveling that's was 55 and literally wish I had an XP boost and the XP gear on, but like every time I did like one quest, like cook something or kill a world boss or something, it would be like another level. It was crazy. So totally worth doing the feast for that. Even if you don't want, I'm doing the feast at this point because I want to buy everything that's on the vendor, and I'm sort of just working my way down. I bought the first few things I wanted. Now I'm just like working my way down the list.
Excellent.
Which is kind of dumb because like they're decorations. A lot of them are decorations. So like maybe you would want, if you had an idea to do something, maybe you would want 6 of one. And none of these 5, but I'll have 1 of each.
Or, maybe you got to have a Shea Chef, and maybe you need hats for every companion. Yes.
That's right. Just remind me when I'm like, where's my chef hat? Go, Shay is wearing it. Okay. So yeah, on MFN this week, we did that. We went to Corellia and killed Lucky because that was the feast quest for that evening.
It was.
The World Boss quest. And we did the sort of official feast thing, which is we made up a group. We had about 12 people, and then we filled out the rest from people on Nar Shaddaa and Corellia. And then we killed Lucky. And we went on and did our normal stuff. And people could have stayed with us if they wanted to, but no, they were back to Nar Shaddaa, turning it in, switching to their alts, no doubt. And then tonight, for our ops team, we had a casual night, and we went to we ran the trial and error uprising for fun and achievements, and it was pretty fun.
Yeah,
it was fun.
It failed, but that's okay.
It failed in one very specific respect, but it was a huge success, well played in many others.
It was fun. Thon was the one who wanted to do it. Thon is the achievement chaser. He really wanted to get this achievement. It's where you have to kill the last boss in that uprising by transforming all 4 of your players into Rackles, and you got to go kill her. He, for some reason, and we didn't find this out until we were at the last boss, was wearing no armor and kept dying. And it was a problem. And he's like, oh my gosh, I don't have armor, but he didn't want to go out and get it. He ends up dying in the last fight. The other 3 of us, we all had armor. Our Rackles didn't die. We were perfectly fine. And you don't get the achievement if one of the people is dead, because then you only have 3 Rackles, not 4. And that was the only reason Thon was there. So it was kind of disappointing. Others of us, we got other achievements that he already had.
Yeah, it was disappointing for Thon.
For Thon, who set it up and was there specifically for that thing. And I felt bad, too. And we're going to do it again with him just to make sure he gets it. But
yeah, we will. Now that we know it, it'll be no problem.
Right. We will still run into the wrong room 4 or 5 times when we run back to turn into Rackles, though.
I know I will.
We all did.
Because I mean,
over and over and
really,
over again.
it's like every room looks just like okay,
Yeah.
uprisings. Um, yeah, so that's how my week has been. How about you, Max?
It has also been similar. I've been doing some feast. I've only been doing the feast stuff on the mandatory fun night. I did almost all of the feast stuff in the previous feast, so I don't need to do it a whole bunch right now. I've got the bunch of the decos. I've got the mount. I've got that stuff, and I think I still have like two, almost a cap of the tokens. So I'm gonna buy whatever else I want off the vendor, and I'll be good. Spend some time on the PTS. Spend some time on the uprising. We will be talking quite a bit about the PTS tonight, and what we think of the mercenary changes. I rolled from scratch both a Arsenal Merc and an IO Merc. We'll flip between both of those, so that's been fun. And then I've been doing a bunch of like two other games on the outside. Which one is we're still building up AIE, LA our guild, AIE-guild.org. Come find us in New World, and we filled the company. Now, you only get one character on the server, and we hit the 100 player cap to such a degree that we started kicking people. They've only been offline for like 14 days. We've started up a second holding company. We'll shuffle people into the main company. We're not ready to split completely, but over 100 people for AIE and New World. So that's kind of impressive. We're still quite casual. We're not going to be doing invasions or anything like that. So that's I just been helping get that off the ground. Probably be slowing down on my time there. And then No Man's Sky had an expedition update that I spent a bunch of. I shouldn't do this, but they released it yesterday, and I'm already done. But it was cool. It's a Dune tie-in. And you get.
Oh, is it?
Yes, yeah. It's a Dune tie-in, and you seek out and travel to 5 planets that have, and they put into the game these giant sandworms and sandworm nests, and then if you complete the entire expedition, you get a sandworm pet for any of your playthroughs on any of your accounts. It sort of like becomes like a legacy wide unlock. So quite cool. They're interesting, those guys at Hello Games, because they're sort of like a small indie studio, and I guess that's why they can do this. They did the tie-in to Mass Effect when the Mass Effect Legendary Edition came out, and now they're doing the tie-in to the Dune movie. I don't know how they're pulling off being able to do these tie-ins, being so small, but they are, and they do, and that's cool. That was really fun. So that's what I've been up to. Let's hear a little bit about what BioWare has been up to in the news.
Now, an Imperial News Network report.
What have players been putting up with in the feast?
So there is a hidden achievement in the feast called "I don't have to put up with this," and to get the achievement, you have to do 5 of the challenge cooking missions and leave before you finish the cooking the thing. So you have to get to a certain point. I don't know how far in you have to get. Maybe you don't have to. Maybe you can leave right away, but you have to leave before you finish. And the problem has been that one of those 5 hasn't been spawning. So people who want to get the achievement were kind of stuck. So as of yesterday, I think that it took them a while to find the bug, but they were aware that something was preventing that one quest from coming up in the RNG. And so now it seems to be fixed, and people are starting to get that achievement. In fact, we had a couple of guildies that got it. So yes, should be good to go.
Yep, we saw it popping up for some people earlier this week, so it looks like it did get in there, which is nice. So you gotta start the mission and then make like a tree and get out of there.
Yes.
That's a Back to the Future joke. Also in the news, not a ton of news, but this did come up, another bug that they're dealing with in the Feast of Prosperity. Primal Destroyer has been having issues with his respawn timer. It's supposed to respawn right away. Supposedly, it's something with how you kill the ads or don't kill the ads, or if you kite the ads away, or you run away and don't kill the ads. Or so the best practice, they say, is to make sure the ads are dead before killing the world boss. That's the updated workaround. That's crazy. You're not supposed to kill the ads.
No. I think the update is that, I mean, the workaround is that you kill the ads before you leave the area. I think what was happening is people would kill the boss and then would run off to go get the bellflowers, and
Well,
the ads would follow them and leave the area, and then that would.
I agree, but they updated the dev tracker post to say explicitly, make sure the ads are dead before killing the world boss. Updated updated workaround.
You're right. It does say that.
Which we kill Primal Destroyer all the time, like on Mandatory Fun Nights and other guild events. And we harp on people all the time. Don't kill the ads. Don't kill the ads. Killing the ads is bad. It's terrible to kill the ads, because we get people in there that are like they have no gear. They're low level. And if you kill the ads, you get blasted up in the air. You will kill people. You'll kill people in the group. So now I'm not going to tell. I can't go back on that. I can't go tell my groups that they should kill the ads. Everybody likes to kill the ads.
You can do it, Max. You can do it.
I'm not gonna die. And your death is a sacrifice I'm willing to make. So I guess fine. Kill the ads. There you go. All right, that's what you're saying. Seema says kill the ads. Seema says kill your friends.
Well, I mean, this should not be a surprise.
I mean, I hope you don't. In Guild and community news, we do have Mandatory Fun Nights. We do have monthly Epic Guild activities. We do have First Friday Flashpoint nights. And we do have lots of AIE Guild stuff across a bunch of game divisions. If I look down, so we have, Guild town halls once in a while, and we have our officer team gets together once a month just to check in on the status of everything. And it takes us a long time just to go through 2 minutes of status on each of our major game divisions. So if you are looking for a gaming community that is in New World and Lotro and ESO and Final Fantasy and Guild Wars and board games and D&D and Valheim, we've got a Valheim server. And World of Warcraft and World of Warcraft Classic and World of Warcraft Alliance and World of Warcraft Horde and Star Trek Online and this thing called Star Wars The Old Republic on Alliance and on Imperial. Did I say Alliance? On Republic. On Imperial. All of that's what our guild does. Let me just make that point. AIE-guild.org. Our guild Discord is public. There's a button in the upper right. I gotta take off this. There's a button right below that for our WinterCon from last winter in January, February when we did that. We may be having another WinterCon, so that button should go off now so that it can go back on as soon as we get the new WinterCon planned. But we always have something going on in Alea Iacta Est. In fact, I saw one of the regulars out of the chat room asking for an invite in New World earlier today even. So there's that. It is quite a good time. Come check us out. Starforge is the Star Wars server, and we've got tons of stuff going on. Every Tuesday night is a blast lately. A lot of new people, a lot of returning players. Sith Lord Britt is in there quite a bit lately. Love having her around. Check out her streams. She's a great streamer. Tabitha, Marcus, also streamers that are part of our team. Check that out. Also shout out to the chat room. Great having all you guys in here tonight. What was it? What did I say I was going to talk to the chat room about? Tell the chat room about afterwards. I don't know. I had something I was going to talk to them about.
Yeah, what was that? It wasn't the Android. I mean the Astromech.
I don't know.
I've got Android on the brain now.
I'm sure we'll find something to talk about in the post show. Stick around for that, and we will talk to you after. But right now, we're going to talk about what's on the PTS.
Bounty hunting is a complicated profession. Would you agree?
It is a complicated profession, but it is going to get slightly less complicated in 7.0 in the update coming at the end of the year. because they're taking a couple things out. Now it's quite minor. So here's the the headline. The headline is, "Are we salty?" Seema, are you salty? Are you angry? Are you ranty about what they've done to your precious mercenary class?
Well, I mean, my secret is I'm always a little ranty.
But for this in particular, any more or less than usual?
Uh, I have some comments.
We will have words. I'm not very salty. I think it's fine. I knew it was coming. I guessed it would look very close to this, and it meets my expectations. And when you meet someone's expectations, well, then they're not going to be very salty. And if I look at, even if I had not, if this was sort of like a surprise, it's not very different. In fact, the core rotation on both the Innovative Ordnance and on Arsenal, the core rotation is almost completely unchanged. It's in the utility abilities where there are some changes. So we're going to look at that. We're going to look at all three of the specs under Mercenary. We're going to look at Bodyguard, Innovative Ordnance, and Arsenal. What do you want to start with, Seema? You want to start with a little bit of healing there? You want to start with healing? Should we go over by the?
I have a feeling.
I don't think we need.
I have a feeling that a lot of what I have to say applies to all of them, which is, just general things like, what is the big idea behind making your threat drop a choice? I mean, there must be a big idea. There must be something that they're going for right there.
Yeah. I don't know either. Either they're demoting the importance of threat and aggro in fights in general, for one, or for two, they know that it's without utilities, it was not very useful in PvP. There were some utilities you could take where it would become useful.
I mean, I know that
I don't know.
They have stated that they're trying to simplify for like a brand new player, so they're not overwhelmed by a bunch of abilities. And all three abilities on this level, which is level 35, the threat drop, supercharged celerity, and power overrides, are three things that, as a new player, you wouldn't really need to understand or know about or ever use, right? So maybe they grouped them together because of that.
Maybe. It's weird.
It just seems like a weird like for me personally, it's that row is not a particularly hard choice, but yeah, I just wonder.
It's weird. Yeah, that is. I mean, if you're a PV, so each of these you can look through a couple lenses: PvP, PvE, PvE group content, and PvE solo. Power overrides is a DPS gain in many situations because it allows you to do 2 instant cast. The other two, Chaff Flare and Supercharged Celerity, both of those are ops useful for operations team. Now you only need one person to have Supercharged Celerity, though. Even if you're going to bother with that, it's not even very good of an ability at all.
Right. It's basically the raid buff.
Yeah, it's a 10-second increase in alacrity by 10% for your entire raid once every 5 minutes. 10 seconds once every 5 minutes, you get a 10% boost in alacrity.
I mean, maybe there's a set bonus coming that provides you supercharged celerity and Shuffler back if you're a raider, because you're getting these.
Oh, wouldn't that be interesting if you have
your sets in operations?
That's interesting. Like a set bonus that says you get to pick a second ability from the level 35 row. World of Warcraft has that. I was just
even thinking it might be right on,
or
a
just,
set bonus
just
is like,
gives it to
now
you.
you get Shuffler,
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. World of Warcraft does have some mechanics where you can choose additional
In Torghast.
in Torghast, which is fun.
Which is like the dungeon crawler roguelike, where you sort of like get boosted abilities as you go through. And some of them basically say, okay, now open up your ability tree, which looks a lot like this, and you get to pick another one out of the row, which is interesting. I don't think they're going to do that here because I don't think they'd have to code it up special. But to your point, you're right. They could just give you chaff flare.
The choice at level 60, which is for me the choice is between Culto Surge and Thrill of the Hunt. I use Culto Surge basically when I allow my health to get way too low. But, I could stop doing that. And then I wouldn't need Culto Surge. I'm not giving up Thrill of the Hunt because that is the ability that allows me to cast Progressive Scan while I'm moving.
Right.
I'm too used to that.
And I'm not going to give that up either.
I would just be crying real tears if I started to cast that while I was moving and it didn't work. So I'm definitely going to pick Thrill of the Hunt, but I will definitely miss Culto Surge because that's kind of my, ace in the hole for when things start to go bad. But
PvP, you're going to pick Thrill of the Hunt. PvE solo and PvE operations, especially hard operations, you're going to pick Thrill of the Hunt. Everybody's going to pick Thrill of the Hunt. No, why would anyone not pick Thrill of the Hunt? I don't know. Because just that, I mean, yeah, sure, you could up your power shield in PvP, or you could have Thrill of the Hunt and just not get hit, and just run away from the marauders. I don't know. I think everybody should take Thrill of the Hunt there.
On level 70 choice, I do use Electro Dart fairly often in raids because if there's a situation where we're doing a bunch of trash and we're rushing through and the tank is not controlling every mob, right, that's in a big pull, and if one's beating on me, I'll just stamp on its foot, right, and then it's stunned for 4 seconds, and by then someone else picks it up. Or I will use it well, I'm more likely to use concussion missile for this, but sometimes when there's like an outlier that's far away just taking pot shots at people, sometimes I will CC that, but I usually more often, like I said, concussion missile. So I like to do that, but is it I can do without that more than I can do without responsive safeguards because I'm just used to being able to pull responsive safeguards out of my hat too. So and then hydraulic overrides is nice, and I use it in certain fights to good advantage, but it's not as important to me as responsive safeguards. So I guess I would use, but I don't like this choice, right? Because I'm not saying that it breaks my class not to have all 3 of these, but I do enjoy having all 3 of them.
Right. So here's one of the opportunities to be salty is sort of what you're outlining is, hey, I do use all 3 of these. Would be nice.
It's not going to make me fail not to have all 3, but that is,
I mean, if you had to take things, if you wanted to simplify, there's other things like you could take away fusion missile and missile blast and take the dot spread ability and just stick it on, I don't know, on sweeping blasters, and take those 2 and just get rid of them completely. Why did you not touch those? Take one of my rocket outs. I told you.
If the idea is pruning,
right?
Why are we choosing between the ones we use all the time instead of just losing the ones we don't use a lot?
Now,
so
yeah, one thing I did think of in this row is this is an opportunity, or would drive the behavior of creating some loadouts. So maybe there's a fight where you got to have hydraulic override, so you've got your hydraulic override loadout, and you'll just swap to that before you go into that fight or whatever. Or you need that extra stun with the Electro Dart.
Like the first fight in Ravagers, the dog.
Yep, Sparky.
Sparky, thank you.
Sparky, she's a good girl.
At the various times when that was progression for us, hydraulic overrides was key because of the rampage.
Yep.
Because the rampage would interrupt me casting a heal on it, and the tanks were always taking a lot of damage, and so I would use that so that I wouldn't get knocked down by rampage. Today, though, it's not important in that fight.
Right.
So I can't foresee. It might be important in something in the new operation I don't know. But like you said, if it is, then we can make a loadout that has it in there.
Right. Right. So maybe some hard choices where you would want some things. Maybe that was a little bit of the design. Hey, let's
And like,
give them some situational stuff, and then we'll give them
right,
loadouts too, and they'll have a
right.
reason to use them.
Yeah, like I'll take responsive safeguards for when I'm out in the world and I want to pull a
Right.
bunch of stuff and I can just, kill them all.
And yell, "Why are you
Um,
hitting yourself? Why are you hitting yourself?" the whole time. So, because that's what
you
I
know
do
me.
every time.
Get out of my head, man. And then the level 80 choices, nothing to do with me, man.
Gyrus, yeah, I looked at this too. What was it? And as a little bit more healing when your energy shield expires. Afterburners, which was jet boost, is stronger. Meh. And then this one, so gyroscopic alignment jets. That's the one that I clicked on. And then in my head, I said, well, yes, this is the one I want. Because it's you vent 20 heat when stunned, immobilized, or knocked down, or otherwise incapacitated. Additionally, your next tech ability deals 10% extra damage or healing. So it's a slight.
That's probably what I would take too.
It's a slight DPS increase, and it's also retribution for getting stunned, immobilized, or knocked down, or otherwise incapacitated, which I hate. And
Yeah.
it should be double. It should be 20% if you get force choked, because that one's the worst. It's just humiliating. So that's what that should be.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll probably take that too because, yeah, I
I mean,
mean,
it's 10% heal.
venting heat and venting heat is
And
always
venting
good.
heat, right. Yeah, so I noticed my heat management seems off. Oh, so you can't see passives on, I haven't switched over to bodyguard, but you have, all your choices are the same as all of mine, which is a little bit weird. And are your
Yeah.
passives broken? Can you not see the passives? You probably
Yeah, I
can't.
can't see the passives. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know some people have actually
Trial and
gone
error
to the
tested
test dummies
it,
and but that's not me.
Right. Neither have I. So I'm not doing that. Yeah. Yeah. So, I'll go through both of these as well, just sort of to point it out, but pretty much the same. It's pretty much the same choices. Maybe the passives will be different between. In fact, we'll take a look as I go through these. I'm because I can't see the passives, and I know these active choices are the same between Innovative Ordnance and Arsenal. But if you look down here, if you look at my bar, so this is for Arsenal. This, in fact, the only ability that I didn't put, what did it just do? Yikes. I just hit C and it freaked out. Put up a giant screen all over that screen. This is what my bar looks like. All of this, except for I usually have Electrodart here in that I actually swap out between Electrodart. I usually don't have Cure on here. I usually have Electrodart and Disabling Shot next to each other right here. So that's the only thing that's sort of like missing. But all of these is the core rotation here, where you're opening with like a tracer missile precast, and you're getting your priming shot and your heat seeker missiles, dropping an electronet on them, getting some blazing bolts, pop off a rail shot on cooldown, get another tracer missile, which gives you another blazing bolt, blah 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 blah. This exactly the same. Its core rotation doesn't change one bit. So it's only some utility stuff. So does it feel like a mercenary? I still noticed when I looked at the feedback threads, there were people saying, no, because you reduced defensive cooldowns at all, like I don't have hydraulic overrides if I want responsive safeguards, somehow you've changed, it no longer feels like a mercenary. I just don't see it. I mean, core rotation's the same. The way I'll play it will be mostly the same, except I'll have like one less trick up my sleeve. Like I won't be able to pop stealth scan, and I won't have hydraulic overrides if I want to keep responsive safeguards like in a PvP match. PvP matches are the ones you're going to have to sort of be the most. I think that's the place where people tend to use their entire toolkit, because the more of a toolkit you have, the more you can be reactive, and that you can surprise your enemy, basically, because you're playing against other people. So the more you can like whip out some rarely used ability and surprise someone with it, the better you are in changing the dynamics of the fight. So I can see that these kinds of changes having the most impact for PvP. In PvE, it's really situational, like you were saying, Seema. For I will use hydraulic overrides in just a couple situations in PvE. I'll use it in the Foreman Crusher fight because I don't want to get knocked back. I'll use it, when Sparky does the rampage. But if I didn't, I'd lose one global cooldown in each of those situations. I'm not going to die. It's not going to change the fight. I just use I lose one global cooldown or a half a global cooldown in my DPS rotation, and that's it. Now, if you're a healer, yes, someone may die losing a global cooldown, but for DPS, we're now a couple seconds behind on where we would have been by the end of the fight. So not bad, not a big deal. Doesn't seem to change very much. These passives, I don't know. We're gonna have to see what the passives are. One of the things, and I'll flip over to the innovative ordinance. You can see it in there too. I tested it on the target dummies too. I just wanted to sort of see how it felt. My heat management seemed bad on innovative ordinance on the target dummies. I had to weave in a lot of rapid shots on the target dummies. So I wasn't sure exactly what was going on there. Like if there was a passive I would normally have that would better affect the heat generation. So because I just let it pick whatever passive that it picked. But that was definitely a DPS. Did I just pick the wrong one? Did I just come back in here on my... No, this is the IO. This is my IO guy. Does everyone see where we're standing here? For people looking at the video, this is it. I don't think I think I said this in the chat room beforehand. This is on the Zyos Shadow. If you go to the Zyos Shadow, you quick travel over there. You go to the elevator. You go up to the bridge deck. This is on the bridge deck. It's an Easter egg scene, and if you look close, here. In fact, I think I even have. What do we got here? No disintegrations. I want them alive. No disintegrations. So here's the actual picture of the scene. The Trandoshan, there's Boba Fett, there's an IG droid, there's this dude with the ace bandage wrapped around his head. And then if you look here, we got Boba Fett. We got it's not an IG droid, but it's a droid. We got the Trandoshan, and we got a dude with the thing wrapped around his head.
Yep.
That's
it's
not
very
Darth Vader.
clear.
It is very clearly the no disintegration scene Easter egg. Awesome, cool. I just came across it today. I don't know if I just never saw it before, but there's a little Easter egg. Go find it on the Imperial Fleet Zyos Shadow. So here you see I'm on the bridge deck of the Zyos Shadow, just right there by the bridge. In the back of the bridge deck, the reason we were up here, the reason I saw it, in the back of the bridge deck, in the very back of the bridge deck, there's a cantina. Right before you get to the cantina, so I judge everything. I directions to everything in my mind are based on where the cantinas are. Of course, triangulate by cantina. Right before you get to the cantina, first we'll go to the cantina, but there's a training area. There's training dummies on the fleet if you ever need to get to a training dummy easily. The best place for a training dummy is your Rishi stronghold if you have one. This is a little bit of a lame cantina. There are much better cantinas around. But it's a little bridge deck. So maybe this is like the officers can just come back here and have a little chilled Corellian cocktail or something like that. But yeah, the best place for training dummies is your Rishi stronghold. Oh, and this is also the elevator to the museum. If you've never been into the museum, you should definitely check out the museum. And then the museum is also the entry point to the +10 fleet datacron, which is incredible. But the museum itself is just really, really cool. Check out the museum. Here's the training dummies, though, and there is even a bolsterizer. Where did it go? Oh, yeah, it's here. there's a bolster kiosk that will bolster you if you need it for some of your testing. But there's an MK5 and an MK10 dummy. The Rishi Stronghold has a dummy and has the vendor with all of the mods that you can do to the dummy built into the Rishi Stronghold. If you go up to the sky deck, the sky platform barge that's floating in the sky that you get to right off of the landing area on Rishi. But yeah, so I was here checking this out on my innovative ordnance, and yeah, I was like building up a lot of heat. It's not too bad right now. You see, I'm doing it. One thing I also noticed, yeah, see, that's gonna start going high. So much so that I thought, well, if this is how much heat I'm going to have generated, I'm going to have to keep weaving in rapid shots. The double shot on power surge is not going to be useful to me because that's only going to make me have to weave in more rapid shots. One thing also that I noticed, and this was picked up in the forums, and this is by design, they did take out thermal sensor override, which was the ability for you to click it once, and the next ability you use doesn't generate any heat. They actually merged that into vent heat. So vent heat was a secondary effect, which said, okay, we're going to vent 50 heat over 3 seconds. So we're going to do that. They put those two together. So vent heat actually does both of those. It does the thermal sensor override and the 50 heat vent. So there's one sort of ability merge call thing that happened. So there you go. But why did they not take out like some of these really situational, like the missile blast and fusion missile, where they could have put like the execute and the dot spread onto your other abilities that would have been just fine. Just put it on sweeping blasters or death from above or whatever. I don't know why they didn't do that, or maybe there's still an opportunity for them to merge or take that away. So we'll see. We'll have to see how it plays out. I also just grabbed the gear. I didn't even look to check what my alacrity was. Maybe my alacrity is relatively high. No. So whatever default gear, 318 gear they gave me, it didn't like double my alacrity or something. So that would have caused me to generate more heat. It was weird that this full set of gear that they gave me did not give me 110 accuracy, even if I grabbed the 110 implants and earpiece. That was a little disturbing. So I'm not sure. Maybe if I stim up 107.55, that's even going to be a little bit low. That's going to be under 110 even if you stim. So I'm not sure what the deal is there. And then usually with the stat scaling, we're going to have to see this as we release and get into the new expansion as well. We're going to, if we're going to be going up from here, usually as you go from 75 to 80, the stat mix and the stat balance changes. And our 1500 or 1510 or whatever we need of accuracy today is probably going to be different. It's probably going to be a different number. We're going to have to watch out for that and see what the new numbers and the new breakpoints are for the global cooldowns, 1.3, 1.4 second global cooldowns for your alacrity breakpoints, and your 110 accuracy breakpoint with or without stim. So we'll see where that ends. So, not that big a deal for that. What else, Seema? So, I did not look yet too much. In fact, we could just take a quick look. We could go back over to the fleet. We could take a.
Well, one thing.
Yeah, go
One
ahead.
thing we were talking about before is that before we started tonight is that we've been focusing on the choices that we have to make, but I don't see any new abilities, and maybe there is a new ability for us on the horizon when we get to level 80 that's just not part of the PTS testing that they're looking for. I don't know.
Yeah,
That's it kind of comes under the heading of irresponsible speculation, but it's not that uncommon to get a new ability with an X-Pack.
not at all. Like a second rocket
maybe-
out.
So maybe we will get something that changes things a little bit. Like maybe rotations are going to change because of that new ability.
Right. Right. And you'd think, yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know. Because it doesn't even look like there's room here in the ability list, because it should then show up here.
I know it doesn't. It looks like there's. Yeah, I agree. Like, where would it be? Like, where's the blank spot? So I don't know.
Maybe not. Maybe maybe it's the rebalance and the reset and the culling, and then the focus is really just on the combat styles as sort of like the newness, and they decided not to, because it would be kind of tough from a design perspective for them to spend a bunch of time, do some culling, do some merging, do some choices. We're going to reduce your abilities, and then right away add another ability and just expand it out again. So they'd have sort of like burn the work that they did, and make everybody's rotation just as big and as complicated as it was before, but not.
But maybe this whole UI isn't the real UI. Like, I know it's a work in progress.
True.
But the other parts of it seem less like a work in progress and more like a completely not right thing. So maybe the whole UI is just waiting for us, and there is room for another ability on the UI that we haven't seen yet.
Yeah. So Seema and I have been tossing this around. What I'm thinking we might be seeing here, and what I'm hoping that we're seeing is that they've got a dev branch, like a 7.0 dev branch, and they're doing testing on there, and they're testing the story content, they're testing the operation, and then they've got a test branch, which is this. And on the test branch, they're just taking a few of the features from the test branch, from the dev branch, and merging them into the test build. Because what they don't want, and they'd never want this, they don't want to put the story and like reveal all the story and stuff on the PTS. Right. They've never done that. They don't want to do that, and I would agree they shouldn't. Because it'll get spoiled and data mined instantly.
If you go, and show like what it looks like under abilities, if you just click on abilities, there's no way this is the UI that's going to come to life.
Yeah. Well, none of that, and we don't have the second style in yet. All of this stuff is just kind of janky. Oh, look, my character portrait isn't all squeezed. Oh, it's because my resolution changed. On the higher resolution, it does weird things to your character portrait.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It does say Starry Saber. It does say work in progress. I'm just saying other parts of it are not so much a work in progress, like something that's almost done, as they're just not right at all. So
yeah,
I'm wondering if maybe there is a lot of UI work going on, but we just don't see it because we're using this work in progress version right now.
Right. Because it was a convenient way for them to get these style updates over, just merged into the PTS, just so they could have people like touching that and giving some feedback on that without having to show off the whole 7.0 update. Because they've talked about wide-ranging other kinds of things for 7.0 as well, and definitely the story. And if they put that build at all out there, data miners would go in and they would get they would scoop up all the dialogue, for example, and then they would have the dialogue that they would find out whether or not we killed Darth Malgus instantly by just scooping the dialogue out, and that would be a shame. What else? Oh, here's the work in progress. When I created this character, and I created the character twice. I created it once so I could do one as Arsenal and another one, and I could switch back and forth and look at it and sort of compare them back and forth without having to swap and change my bars around. Both times, speaking of work in progress, check out these pants. So this is what they look like in the cutscene. Out of the cutscene, they're like hot pink, and I didn't take a screenshot of that. But in the cutscene, and in the the preview window, this is what the pants look like.
I love them.
So is this a preview of what we're gonna get? I don't know. I couldn't read what do these words say.
Max, where did you get your leggings? They're super cool.
They are super cool. I bet. Yeah, I was saying. I know this is like a a default texture. It's not working. It's a problem. I bet if you put these in the game though, that people would buy them and would be walking
Oh
around
yeah,
wearing them.
totally. They
they,
totally would.
they totally
But they
would.
should change the lettering to Orabesh.
Yeah, I see. What is it? What does it even say here? Saying, I
It
can't.
does not say SEMA.
I don't know what it. Missing. Oh, missing. So missing text
Missing art asset, maybe.
art. So it's missing something. Yeah, yeah. The top word is missing. I don't know what. I think there's a seam here. So this ERAT. This is not one word across my butt. SEMA. And then the other thing I wanted to make sure I showed off, which is unrelated, but definitely worth showing off, is this was the flashpoint. This is where our 4 rat goals. And Thon pointed out that
You took a screenshot.
I took a screenshot of their butts because they do have pretty good butts on those rat ghouls. They're
I mean, it's
again,
not Form and Crusher quality, but
it is not Foreman Crusher, Gargath, or Eyeless level. They're a little blocky, a little low poly, but still pretty well formed intergluteal cleft that's distinct, and they do not miss leg day. So you got your rat ghoul butts there. I'm going to add this into my butt rotation though, of photos. Is that screenshot contest over? Can I send this in to Bioware?
yes, Max,
show
it's
them.
over.
It is over. It is over. It's over. It's not over till I say it's over.
But we haven't seen the winners yet. I want to see the winners.
We have not seen the winners. We also are so what do we got? We need to. Well, we got a lot of stuff. We got a lot of stuff. So they're continuing to say holiday. We've never heard them say anything different on holiday. So that means we've got about. Well, we could have 2 months. We could have 2 months of dev time at this point. So I've got 2 questions for you, Seema. One is I got 3 questions for you. Amongst my questions are the 4 questions that I have for you, which is 5 questions. Now, question number 1. If we do get a new ability at level 80 for your little healer there, Seema, what do you want that ability? I'm springing this on you, and I know you like that. What do you want that level 80 ability to be?
Oh,
I'll do mine first, so you can think for a second.
I would like it to be. Oh, that's a good question.
Rock it in. Forrester, it would
I
have to be
mean-
something like that. Yes.
Rocket in.
Rocket in would be much more useful than a second rocket out. I would like rocket in.
Oh, my rocket in would be super cool because you could rocket out and rocket in all day long.
You know what I want? I want a
And I do think-
tactical that allows me to activate rocket out in the air.
And I was
That would be
Oh yeah,
epic.
I was tempted to say something that is a movement thing because if I don't choose, Wachahoogie from that what we were talking about, it would be nice to have something else, especially for even if it's just for running back from wipes. So everybody else is using their force speed and stuff like that, and we're just chunking along behind.
Mm-hmm. Operatives with their stupid little roll and getting ahead of the group.
So yeah, but I like rocket in, rocket up.
So second
rocket
question.
down the clock.
Okay. Do you think that they're going to get this update out in but before the end of the year, or
Yes.
do you think it could be postponed? Yeah, I think they are too. And then that leads to the third question, which is the SEMA special. What's the date? What's the date the expansion's going to drop?
Oh, okay. What is the date? Let me look at a calendar.
Yep, I'm looking too. So I'm looking at December here.
Okay, I'm gonna say December 7th.
December 7th. Ooh,
Mhm.
that's much earlier than I would go. I would say the 14th at the earliest, and possibly even the 21st would be mine. But I will put it here in the notes. Seema says December 7th. Is that your final answer?
Yep.
And Max says, okay, if I got to pick one. See, I'm going to go with the, they're going to not want to do it. They're going to be mad that they waited. But it's going to be the 21st. I'm going to go with the 21st. I'm going to go. Okay, we're going to do who's closer. I'm going to go with the 8th.
We're gonna use like Price is Right rules.
Price is Right rules. No, I'll say December 21st.
Who's closest without going over?
Yeah, if
So,
we're
like,
using Price is Right rules, I would not say December 21st. But no, I for sure. So that, I mean, that's a good point. Could it be 2022? You could guess that, and I think that's not necessarily out of the question, just depending on all of the things that they want to do. But I'm still pretty confident because it's the 10th anniversary that they'll get something out to go with 10th anniversary.
Yeah, and because
because they do.
I feel, yes, I know they've been working hard on it, and also they've sort of chunked it up so that even if they have to leave something out, and that's not there from day one.
They already said the story is going to continue. So they said the updates in 2022 will continue the story of whatever Malgus is up to, or we suppose
But
Malgus, but it could be something else.
they just couldn't get the Flashpoint ready.
Yeah.
They could move the Flashpoint out to 2022.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be,
or just less of the story, or I would hope like that the styles are at least we'll see. I mean, they got a bunch of moving parts, and they probably have stuff they haven't even told us yet, so then maybe they've got that in their back pocket as reserve. Are we going to see most or much of any of this stuff on the PTS? I think at this point we might not.
No, I don't think so.
Because we're getting late for that to matter, to be useful. Because there's a long cycle between when something gets finalized and then all of the things they have to do after. They have to finish all the graphical assets, and then they have to localize it, and they have to localize it into multiple languages, and there's a whole sort of like pipeline of all of these things that need to happen. I think we just might not see this a bunch of this stuff on the PTS, and they might want to surprise us. I'm sure they want to surprise us with the story, but they might want to surprise us with whatever else. The new pants, the new green pants. They're going to surprise us with that. Everyone has to wear green pants. All pants are now green with words on them. That's a missing asset. All right. So with that speculation, Seema saying December 7th, Max saying December 21st. We will wrap up for this week. Maybe we'll take a peek next week at and maybe even get some feedback. I asked Marcus in the pre-show, Marcus from Working Class Nerds, what he thought of the adjusted updates to the Guardian, because that is his class. And he was very salty when Guardian first got introduced to the PTS for good reason. So we'll see if that's been adjusted, and we'll get some professional feedback as far as that goes. But for now, we can take EPC 401, and I guess we don't have to worry about more milestones for about 99 more episodes, Seema. So that's a relief.
Yeah.
EPC 401 and kicking our airlock to broadcast this podcast to all of you out there. For podcast links and to see when we go live, follow me on Twitter at MaxTheGray. And if you know any cool people that should be playing with us, as I said in the news segment, tell them to come check us out at aie-guild.org. Our podcast is also at newoverlords.com. That's where the feeds are hosted. And then we are on iTunes. We are on YouTube /New Overlords. Twitch.tv /New Overlords is when we go live on Thursday nights. Our Discord to get in contact with the podcast or our guild in general on Starforge to get a guild invite is at aie-guild.org. In the upper right, there's a button you can click that takes you and invites you. Our Discord is open to the public. And we would love to get you in there, play any of the games, play Star Wars with us, come play. And with that, we will talk to you soon.
Later, everyone.